is a state of total unconsciousness. So in coma, the subtle body gets stuck there. And thus the person, as you know, because sometimes people are kept alive in a hospital for years and years in a comatose state. So this demon possession generally means that the subtle body of a person has been dislodged, has been moved out of the way by some powerful subtle being who takes over the functions of this body. So the soul is still there. The soul is still there, but it is not able to function in the body having been dislodged. Sometimes it happens that when a person is dying, in fact I'll give an example, and I'm not going to mention names. There is a well-known mystic in South India. He's famous all around the world. Famous for causing things to appear in his hand, like that. And he is worshipped by many, many people as being God incarnate on the earth because of his mystic powers. So he claims to be the reincarnation of a Baba that lived previously, that died sometime in the 1920s, or maybe 1919. Anyway, shortly before this person was born, that other Baba died. And he claims to be the reincarnation of that other Baba. Now, it was reported by this mystic's brother, who is not very favorable. Brother is pretty much opposed to his older brother. He's opposed to his younger brother, the mystic. So it was reported that when this mystic was a boy of about 5 years old, he was stung by a scorpion and he went into a coma. And actually they thought he was dying, or he seemed to die. They actually thought he was dead. And then suddenly he came back to life, but he seemed to be a different person, a completely different person. And then he had these mystic powers and became known as God on earth. So this older brother of this mystic, he hypothesizes, it's his guess, that what happened was is that this mystic who had died that was in Maharashtra, another state of India, was hovering on the astral platform, looking for a body to enter. And he happened to see this boy who had just been stung by a scorpion, was leaving his body, so he entered and then used that body. So sometimes that may happen, but ordinarily demon possession means that the soul is still there in the heart, what has been just bumped into the comatose state. And the demoniac entity is using the body. This happens in channeling, in mediumship, that the medium or the channeler goes into trance, and actually just lets go of the operation of the body. Doesn't leave the body, but lets go of the operation of the body and lets another entity come in and take over for some time. But this is generally what's happening in these cases.
Yes? What is function of the brain when consciousness is situated in the heart, in the mind?
Yes, the brain functions as a computer. This is a common example. A computer is a machine. It's not a conscious thing. But a computer is capable of calculation, of organization. Anyone who uses computers knows what they can do. But the computer is not aware. It's the operator of the computer who is aware of what the computer is doing. The operator is sitting outside of the computer looking at the screen. So similarly, we are actually sitting in the heart. But we are using the brain just as a computer operator uses the computer. And when we sit in front of the computer, then our whole consciousness is taken up by the screen. We identify fully with what's going on the screen. So similarly, because we're using this brain for all the functions of this body and for interacting with this world around us, we have to use the brain primarily. So therefore our consciousness is projected from the heart into the head. And we think we're in the head. We're actually in the heart. Like a person sitting in front of the computer, he forgets he's in the seat. He's just looking at the screen. He's in his computer.
What about the memory then? Is that just a function of the brain?
No, memory. Memory is provided by Krishna. Actually, again, we must say that all the functions of the body, because the Lord is Prana Sharira, He's doing all these things. He's causing the brain to function, the heart to beat. He's giving the memory. Everything's being done by Him.
So there's no such function as you have a memory. Because sometimes we don't have very good memory. Some people have a bad memory, some people have a good memory.
Yeah, well, that is being supplied or denied by Krishna. That's what He says. I am in the heart. I am giving knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Huh? Yes, Chaitya Guru means the Lord in the heart. Yes. Well, first of all, Krishna is Paramatma. You should not say Paramatma is someone else besides Krishna. Krishna is Paramatma. But according to our relationship with Krishna, He may act in an indifferent way. You see, this is the meaning of Paramatma as super soul of all living beings, all the conditioned living entities, who are not devotees, who are just interested in sense gratification. He is situated indifferently in their heart. He is not taking a particular special interest in them. He is with them in the heart. He's supplying them with the intelligence they need to function within that body according to their karma. And He's guiding them to the next body according to what they did in this body. That He's doing, but he's aloof. But for the devotee, Krishna is taking a personal interest because the devotee is trying to serve and love Krishna within the heart. So when the Lord in the heart is taking a personal interest in that living entity in the heart, that's when we say that Krishna is in the heart. Just like Krishna is telling Arjuna. He's telling Arjuna in the end of the Bhagavad Gita that he should surrender to the Lord in the heart. Yes, in text 62. Tameva saranam gaccha sarvabhavina bharta. O sign of Bharta, surrender unto Him utterly. That Him is explained in the previous verse, Ishvara sarvabhutanam. The Ishvara, the Lord, resides in the heart of all living beings. So he says, O sign of bar, to surrender unto him utterly. And then, that's text 62, so in text 64, and then because Arjuna is doing that, Arjuna, he's accepting what Krishna says. Krishna said, surrender unto him, the Lord in the heart. So then Arjuna is, yes, I will do that. And then in text 64, Krishna continues his instructions, saying, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking with you, my supreme instruction. And then in the next verse, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage to me. In the next verse, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. See, because Krishna is now, because Arjuna now will surrender to the Lord in the heart. Now Krishna is saying, surrender to me. You see? He's no longer aloof. So, the Lord in the heart is Krishna when there is reciprocation between the living entity and the heart. When the living entity is forgetful of Krishna, then the Lord in the heart is simply known as Vishnu or Paramatma. But they're the same person. You shouldn't think of them different.
I had a teacher yesterday in the Suhotra, and he became very disturbed when I said that Bhagavad Gita, its origin is 5,000 years old, because he said that according to modern religious history, it's about 2,000 years old. And he said that everybody knows this. So,
I mean, just ask him. Everybody knows this on the basis of what they do. Just ask him that. Then you won't have anything to say. So, they say 2,000 years simply by mental speculation. And that is not our process of knowledge. We don't accept that as knowledge, mental speculation. Our process of knowledge is Guru Parampara.
that's what's his reaction. That is your, it's your...
Yeah, that is also Bhagavad Gita. Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Raja Sayovidu. So therefore, we are the ones qualified to speak about Bhagavad Gita because we accept Parampara. You accept mental speculations. Don't touch Bhagavad Gita. You have no authority to speak about it. Just like we don't try to tell him about the mundane process of education. He's a teacher. And we don't come in and try to instruct him how he should teach these mundane subjects that he's teaching in his school, because he's accepted that whole line, that whole tradition. So he's an authority in that respect. So we just request from him that he, just as we're respecting him, you're a teacher, those are your students, you're teaching them in that way. We have nothing to say about that. Of course, we know it's all nonsense. But anyway, this is your business in life, to bewilder people. You're very expert because you're very bewildered. So we're not going to increase your bewilderment, try to, or adjust your bewilderment. We have nothing to do with that business. So just as we respect you in your bewilderment, so you should respect us in our understanding of Bhagavad Gita. We've accepted the process of knowledge that Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita. We are following it.
So where does this idea, where do they take this from?
They take it from mental speculation. That's all. You see, their what they call history of India begins with Buddha. Gautama Buddha, they're sure about his date. They say 250 years before Christ. Date of Gautama Buddha. Or something. I don't even remember. Maybe it's 500. I forgot actually. I think 2,500 years ago. Yes, so it must be about 500 years before Christ. So their understanding of Indian history starts there. And so they think that Buddha was the original teacher of transcendental knowledge in India. And so they look at the Buddhist, the sayings ascribed to Buddha and the Buddhist scriptures, and they look at the Bhagavad Gita, and they see a similarity between the two. There's some, like in Bhagavad Gita, there's a statement in second chapter, there's the term Brahman Nirvana. And they say, Nirvana, that's a Buddhist term. So that means Bhagavad Gita came after the Buddha. But they don't know anything what went on before the Buddha. They don't know that before the Buddha, there was Krishna, Philip Kurukshetra, speaking to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita. They don't know that Buddha simply derived his teachings from the Vedic scriptures, and that's why there's a similarity. They're just guessing. Any other questions? Yes?
It's simple to eat animals, that's quite easy to understand, but how about plants?
How about
Plants.
plants?
Killing them, they have a soul too, don't they?
Yes, and that is also sinful. Therefore, Krishna in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says that we have to perform yajna, sacrifice. We have to offer our foodstuffs to Krishna. What's that? Yajna shintarshana shanto muchante sarvakirvashar. Lord Krishna says that the devotees who offer their foodstuffs unto me are relieved of these sinful reactions. So now one thing is, even though it is admitted that to eat plants, to be vegetarian, also brings karma upon us unless it is offered. We should not then think that, well, then it's the same as eating meat. It's the same degree of sin. It's not. Because milk, fruit, vegetables, grains, sugar, these kinds of foodstuffs are prescribed for the human being. They're prescribed in the Vedas and they're prescribed by the laws of nature. The human being is by nature. There are plenty of books that attest to this. We don't have to get into these details, but human being is by nature. The human organism is naturally vegetarian. So if the human being instead eats meat, then he's seriously breaking the laws of nature and will get a very serious reaction for it. If the human being is vegetarian, because he is not offering the foodstuffs to the Lord, then he's considered a thief. But it's like comparing a cucumber thief to a diamond thief. They're both thieves. But if somebody steals some cucumbers, it's not so considered so serious. But if someone steals diamonds, he's a big criminal. So similarly, if we're meat eaters, then that is a serious transgression of the laws of nature. Whereas if we're vegetarian, non-devotee vegetarians, we're also transgressing, but not so seriously. So it is in any case always better to be vegetarian than to be a meat eater. And then his eating will be in the mode of goodness. And from the position of material mode of goodness, one can more easily understand Krishna consciousness. And thus, then one can come to the point of actually offering one's foodstuffs to Krishna. And that is transcendental, that is karma-free. Any other questions? Yes?
When you dream, sometimes you dream about pastimes and different different person. Different persons, so they're not even there. Can I try again? When you dream,
Yeah.
sometimes you dream about past times.
Past times.
Yes. History. What are history for you, right?
Something that happened before your life.
Right. No. When you was a child, maybe.
One child.
Yeah. So is this possible with the certain body leaves?
Yes, but these are, you see, memories are stored within the subtle body by super soul. Super soul keeps these memories in what is called in the modern term subconscious. There is a subconsciousness, which is the storehouse of memories. It is called in the Vedic language the chitta. Chitta is one aspect of the subtle body, subconsciousness. So, the memories from the past, when we were children, or even before this life, they sometimes come out of this subconscious storehouse. It's compared to like in a swamp. From the bottom, a bubble suddenly comes out and rises to the top. And then on the surface you see a big boom. You can see on the surface the bubble burst and many ripples are generated. So similarly, these memories, they sometimes are released and they come into our conscious mind and they manifest there. So, yes, at night we may dream and re-experience some part of our life when we were children in that way. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Suhotra Swami ki
Jai.